Hello you Suunto fans, this is the Suunto Race versus the Suunto Vertical. I promise you now, this is the most in-depth video you will find about these two watches. Let's go. Hello and welcome to Active Ideas video. This is the Suunto Race versus the Suunto Vertical, and I'm going to dive into all of the nitty-gritty differences between the two. A lot of you are asking in the comments, what is the difference? Is it as simple as, one has a memory and pixel screen, one has an AMOLED screen? Is it as simple as, one has better battery life, one has good battery life? I'm here to tell you there's a little bit more to that, such as if you like a little bit more customization, I think the Vertical is the way to go. You have a lot more customization on the maps, on the battery modes as well, and you're also going to get more simultaneous satellite communication systems on the Vertical. Let's dive into it over here. So diving straight into the maps, if we hold down that button to get to the maps, so here you can see the differences in maps. You actually have more options. So right now we have the high contrast, which I think is excellent. Some YouTube reviewers weren't a fan of this mode, but I think it's awesome if you really want to see where those roads are, if you really want to see where those buildings are and where those public footpaths are. It's nice and clear to see on the Vertical. And if we go down, you also have other options to go onto the map, click on outdoor, and you can see the outdoor has completely changed the way that the map looks on the Vertical. And we also have another mode as well. So this is the outdoor. You can see it's a little bit different from the high contrast where they've introduced some color. And last but not least, we also have the other map option, which is dark mode. So I guess this is good if you want to preserve some of your night vision. You've got the colours there, but yeah, it's almost like opposite colours with the dark mode. It's a lot more easier on the eyes, and I guess better for the evenings, dusk, dawn, types like that. So you've got those three maps options. What we're going to do now is dive onto the Suunto Race. So on the Suunto Race, we're currently on light mode, and as you can see on the light mode, you can see those beautiful colours as we scroll around the map here. You can see this is my town that I live in, and some of the major motorways coloured in yellow. If we go down, same again, we'll go on to map, and on the Race we have the option of map off, map light and map dark. So we'll go on to map dark, and this is what the map dark looks like. It looks very dark on the Race. It's a lot easier to see with my own eyes, but you are seeing the benefit in daylight here of having a memory and pixel screen compared to a AMOLED. So AMOLED is fantastic, but it's not the be all or end all. So yeah, this is the dark mode. If we just switch back into light mode, and there we are, we're back into light mode, swiping through the cities. So that was the difference number one. So it was the maps and the customization within the maps. Another massive difference I think you'll notice in your daily life is the flashlight. If you check here, I've just put the flashlight on the Suunto Race, and look how much this dimmens my camera. It's kind of crazy. And then if I switch on the flashlight on the Suunto Vertical, you're going to see the massive difference between screen brightnesses, and therefore your ability to see at night when you are using that, for going around camp, when you're looking to change the batteries in your headlamp. For everyday life, this is a massive difference. We're going to move on now to the custom battery modes, which is only on the Vertical, and you can do that within the sports profiles. Now, it's not as simple as just being able to adjust the battery modes. This actually affects the touchscreen during your activities, so it's kind of a major thing, and it's very confusing. So let's dive into that now so I can explain it a little bit more. So we're going to scroll up on both of them. We're going to select running. And if you saw there, that was a live demonstration of how quick the watches are to get the GPS. Like, that was instantaneous. It's really impressive. So once you are in the sports mode, this is the running, but you can do the custom battery modes in any sport profile. You'll click on custom battery mode, and you can see here on both watches we have performance, we have endurance, we have ultra, we have tour, but here's where the difference lies. On the Vertical we have custom. Now, custom means that you can completely customize how this watch behaves during activity, which is fantastic if you want to elongate that battery life. But what's more crazy is this actually affects the touchscreen. So if you go on to custom, you can see that I've got best GPS accuracy selected, but I've got touch enabled. Now, I don't know why this setting is within the battery settings, but if you click onto the touch enabled, you've got the option to disable touchscreen. So I have touchscreen completely off, which is massive for a lot of you guys out there. You have the ability to put the touchscreen on, which again is massive for you guys out there who like the touchscreen. I really do like using a touchscreen during an activity. And you also have the option to have the touchscreen on for map only. So again, this is a massive feature for you guys who want a little bit more kind of control over your button / touchscreen experience. So yeah, I can click it to be map only, but we're actually going to put it on enabled and show you the difference. Start the activity on both watches. Now let me show you how they interact whilst you're running, you're cycling, you're rock climbing, doing what you're doing. With the vertical, I can swipe through my different screens. So this is the lap screen, so I can see my different laps. This is the map screen. This is the music control screen. So I can scroll down and use the next, the previous, the volume, the pause and play on the music controls. I can swipe through to the next menu and get back there. And you can see on the race here, if I try and use the touchscreen, nothing will happen. I actually do need to use the scroll wheel as a button. So you push it in, and this is going to take you through the different kind of options. So we're at the map, we'll go through again. We're at the burner. So this is a Suunto Plus app. It will tell you your distribution between your fat and your carbs. Awesome Suunto Plus app. We've also got race time, which I think is really cool if you are an ultra runner and you want to know what your estimated time is. And again, we've got the music controls, but again, there's no kind of way to interact with this. You have to use the scroll wheel, and for some people this might be fantastic, but for others they might actually prefer using the touchscreen. And as far as I'm aware, I don't think that's an option on the Suunto Race. I've had a little look in the settings and can't seem to find it. So there we go. There's a massive difference in user interaction during an activity. So the next major difference is the GPS accuracy. But if you go onto the Suunto website, you are able to see that both of these watches can connect to 32 satellites, whereas the Vertical can connect to 5 simultaneous satellite systems. The Race can only connect to 4 simultaneous satellite systems. So yeah, I'm going to do some more testings to see if there's any difference. And if you are looking forward to seeing that, wait for my Suunto Race review. But yeah, just a little potential difference in the accuracy of the GPS for you guys who really do need that kind of pinpoint accuracy that I've definitely seen with the Vertical, and I'm currently testing with the Race. Now moving on to the next factor here, and this is going to affect a lot of you guys, is the battery life. Now you probably already know if you want the battery life, you're going to go for the Vertical, but what is the actual difference? Now what I do have here is the Vertical Solar, and what you're going to see here is some crazy numbers. So in time mode, this is going to be able to last you a year. So a year of battery life, you will not have to use a charger. It's insane in time mode. Why is that really good? It means that you're not going to lose a lot of battery with standby. So any of you guys who might have used an Apple Watch, just from the moment that you get out of your house and try and get to the start of your event, you've probably lost 10%. With the Vertical, you could leave the house, get on a plane, fly to a different country where your race is, use this watch in time mode, and a week later after you've acclimatized, let's say you've been at altitude, you can switch this into activity mode and it will still be on 100% and start your race. All of that after a week. And also if you are using kind of 24-hour health tracking on the Vertical, you know, heart rate variability, sleep tracking, and those mobile notifications, you're still going to get 60 days without a charger. And yeah, I've been seeing really good battery life with the Vertical. Now with the Suunto Race, it's a little bit different. In time mode, you are going to get 26 days. Now just stop for a second. 26 days for an AMOLED screen in time mode is absolutely unbelievable. So yeah, compare that competition to like an Apple Watch Ultra. You might be charging every 2 or 3 days. However, if you are going to use this in 24-hour tracking mode, such as your heart rate, sleep tracking, all the good stuff, that's where we're going to drop down to around 12 days on the Suunto Race. And if you go into training mode, we are going to get 85 hours on the Suunto Vertical Solar, which is insane. 85 hours of best GPS accuracy. It is one of the best in the industry. And then with the Suunto Race, you're only going to get 40 hours on that best kind of GPS accuracy. So there is a massive difference. In terms of battery life, the Vertical is quite literally twice as good as the Race. So next we're going to move on to design and build quality. I'm pleased to say they do both share the same design language, and that design language is fantastic. I'm really liking what Suunto are doing here. They feel very professional, they feel very cool and sexy on the wrist. They are a very awesome training watch. So now weighing the watch, so the case only is 52 on the Suunto Race. If I add the bands now, we're going to knock that up to around 70 grams. And you can see here the Vertical is 57 grams. If I add the bands, it's going to go up to around 74 grams. And again, these are my kitchen scales, so I don't know how accurate they are. But if we dive a bit deeper, you can see here on the Vertical, on the outskirts, you have these degree symbols. And I think for those who are navigating and might be using the compass quite a lot, having that on the outside of your screen is going to be very useful. You see on the bottom here, we've got the Suunto branding. On the Vertical, that's kind of printed on, whereas on the Suunto Race, it's etched on. So yeah, it says Suunto there and you can feel it with your nail. It's actually carved out of the metal. I think although it's kind of subtle, it looks really professional when you notice it. Feels great, and it's a nice design feature. Obviously, I hate to state the obvious, but one has a dial and the other one has 3 buttons. So in terms of your interaction as well, you are going to have that scrolling wheel on the Race compared to the Vertical, where you have got those 3 button systems. Another thing to notice as well is on the edge of here, you have again an etched in Suunto design on the opposite side of the crown, which looks and feels great. On the Suunto Vertical, there is nothing on the other side, so there's a difference there as well. We've got the designs of the straps here. They are the exact same feeling of strap, the exact same quality, the pin design, and I've really enjoyed using it. It feels comfortable to work out in, it feels comfortable to sleep in, and yeah, it does stay on the wrist. It's very kind of a secure fitting, and it's very easy to put on as well. Just slip it straight on. Moving on to the back now, you can also see that they do share the same heart rate sensor. If you do want to see some heart rate sensor accuracy, again, wait for my Suunto Race review video coming very soon. I'm waiting for the update to come out. But for you guys who might be green runners, who care about the environment, who are interested in reducing your carbon emissions, if you look on the back here, you can see that the Suunto Vertical was made in Finland, whereas if you look very closely on the Suunto Race, it actually says made in China. Now, is this a big deal? Not really. I think they both feel very professionally made. I've noticed no difference in build quality. They're both fantastic, but where it does kind of count is your carbon footprint. So the Suunto Vertical here is made from 100% renewable energy, and they've carbon offset 100% of their carbon emissions. Suunto have claimed that over the lifetime of the Vertical, that's around 6.5 kilograms of CO2 emissions, and they've offsetted that. And those of you who are trying to digest that, such as me, what that equates to is roughly around 39 kilometers in a car of you driving. So if you think you get in a car, drive 39 kilometers, which isn't that far, that's the only carbon emission you're going to be putting into the air over the lifetime of the Vertical, which is impressive already, and they've offsetted that. Whereas with the Race here, I'm not too sure what's going on. There's no kind of super advertised, made in Finland, because it is made in China. They haven't advertised, that super renewable energy that it's being created from. So yeah, I'm not too sure what your environmental impact is going to be with the Suunto Race. That might be one thing for you guys to consider in terms of you making that better choice. And the last thing I want to mention is the screen clarity. So the Suunto Race screen is actually the very much slightest bit bigger, but what I have found is that's made a massive difference on just having a slightly bigger numbers on the screen. And I think with that AMOLED screen, when I've been running and trying to look at my heart rate, my pace, my distance, it's been really easy to do on the Suunto Race. So just diving in here, you can see what the same watch face might look like on both of these watches, and I think you're starting to get the point I'm making about that screen clarity, just a bit easier to kind of see. Yeah, the screen clarity definitely is much easier to kind of see on the AMOLED screen of the Race. It just feels bigger, it feels nicer, and it's more pleasurable to use. And last of all, the massive difference between the two is the price. So the Vertical is a much more expensive device. They are kind of, advertising to that ultra endurance athlete, that person doing a lot of training, who doesn't really care about the fancy bells and whistles of having a dial and that AMOLED screen. They just want the battery life. But again, I have noted some of those other features that the Vertical does come with, such as the satellite systems, the more customization in the battery modes, and also the ability to use the touchscreen a little bit more, such as within the activity. So that's why you might be paying a little bit less for the Suunto Race. But there have been some amazing deals, especially now on the Vertical, so keep your eyes peeled, and you might actually find that there's not so much of a big difference as you first expected. But anyway, thank you for watching an Active Ideas video. This is the Suunto Race versus the Suunto Vertical. I've got a lot more Suunto content coming in my studio, not outside here in the cold, in the wind. Stay tuned for that, and peace out. So thanks for watching. You know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe if you can. My slogan, dreams are a step away. And remember, show compassion, show esteem, and have fun out there. Peace out.